like to talk about radio. In this presentation, I will talk about four parts about radio, which are the history of radio, the radio on life, and problem faced by radio, and the application of radio. In the first part, we can know that radio is the first electronic form of popular culture and mass communication, and radio can be transmitted by two waves, which are FM and AM, by our lecture. Moreover, radio is an innovation that exploited in the digital area. Now let's look at the development of the radio. I think Nichols is the first person who innovated the radio, but in fact, in 1986, Nichols acquired official first wireless telegraphy patent in England. After that, radio is used by World War One. The military used it almost exclusively, and it became an invaluable tool in sending and receiving messages to the armed force in real time, without the need of physical messenger. Following the war, civilians began to partial radio for private use. In 1926, the broadcast quickly spread across the UK, but failed to use up newspaper until 1926, when the newspaper went on strike. In World War II, the radio once again fulfilled an important role for both the US and the UK. With the help of journalists, radio released news of the war to the public. After that, FM radio stations began to overtake the organic AM stations, and new forms of music, such as rock and roll, began to emerge. The second part is the radio on life. I think when people mention about the popular culture, lots of people may think about TV, movie, music, and many people may consider that radio has been replaced by other electronic devices. Well, radio has previously been a source of entertainment in the front of the serious programs. Men seems to be more inclined towards agriculture programs relevant to local conditions. Women listen to Christian programs and ignore entertainment programs, and children consider radio to be a companion and an intimate medium of entertainment and information. I believe that the popularity of music is transmitted by radio. After the World War II, it began to focus more on playing the music of the time. Therefore, many people learn about music on the radio. There will be music station everywhere, but nowadays, due to the competition of various media, but the popularity of the MP apples and now some music apps has made it much easier for people to get music, not just via radio. But many stations are still trying to keep music broadcasting fresh. The first way to keep the program structure. Now music is increasingly used as a background and accompaniment tool. People's focus is not on the music but on achieving a relaxed and enjoyable state through the music. Therefore, today's music station tends to play smooth music or popular songs. The second way is that music radio use a variety of ways to interact with listeners. with, with each program having a messaging platform and a live streaming platform. Listeners can send messenger and participate in discussion at any time during the listening progress. The third way is that the program host can show distinct program characteristics and has always mentioned that the unique program effect leading the fashion of the plat position. Development and progress of society. People don't pay much attention to the radio, but a survey by Chinese research Li Jianqiu found that 68.04% of college students listen to the radio at night. College students generally listen to these three radio programs: emotional interview, news and information, music and entertainment. For emotional interviews, it takes an emotional expression as the theme. Most emotional interview programs are shown at night because it can create a humorous and friendly sense in a relatively quiet night environment. To achieve a good listening mood and create a private listening environment. I think the reason why many students would like to join this program is that, in terms of emotional aspect, college students are particularly for respect and self-realization. So they need to satisfy Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Therefore, emotional interview shows are a great platform for helping college students' mental health. For news and information, it is the lowest expensive and energy consuming channel to receive information compared with mobile phone or computer. College students usually study by reading books during the day. Visual figure is unavailable. By listening to the news and information on radio, college students can acquire the demanded for the news and information of the day without visual fatigue. For music and entertainment, most college students thought that some songs were related to an event or emotional experience in their memory, and listening to music on the radio could express different emotions, such as happiness or sadness. Radio, radio music was used as a source of identity information, but more often it was identified for entertainment, background, or relaxation. And some students said that they created means difficultly from different sources. The third part, I would like to talk about the issue of radio. I believe that nowadays the radio is not an important electronic device. More and more people don't pay attention to the radio. Therefore, the radio industry is facing many problems and challenges. The first problem is the business model, which is not substantial content and innovative development, which is the key to most media's unsuccessful transformation. The second issue is communication channels, which means that radio belongs to learned communication, which is learned communication starting from the communicator passing through the media and ending with the audience, and then the low engagement in the evaluation of the result of modern media competition. The choice of audience accounts for most of proportion. The weakness of broadcasting in broadcast channels and audience feedback made it have a face and problem of audience reduction. And as technology advances, the audience for radio is changing. In beginning, all people used the radio, but over time, now radio has become an insignificant electronic device. Radio's audience is also changing, especially for young adults and youth. Young audience has become a problem for the radio broadcasting industry. EBU were observing how music radio stations were beginning to lose their influence over those who so far had been their main listeners. And the reason is that the streaming service with music content such as Pandora or Spotify and platforms such as YouTube has emerged as significant providers for young listeners. Furthermore, apart from other important features, these music providers have allowed people to create customized playlists that they can carry in their pocket due to the new digital music players such as MP3, MP4, AirPods, or the mobile phone. There are two surveys about teenagers listening to the radio. The first one is that the investigators who found that young adults who prefer to listening to music was account 97.1%, while listening to the radio was behind surfing the internet or going to the cinema. In the 2014 forecast said that the fast-paced technological evolution is responsible for turning the generation into the generation, one that is content at all time and one that is adept at using social media tools. Second survey is lobbyist study. The experimenters are asked to write down the title of three radio programs they usually listen to. Only 208 interviewers out of 1002 were able to provide the correct title. After discounting different variables, it was concluded that young adults listen to the radio sporadically and for a very short period of time, between 50 minutes and 1 hour at any one time. In the last part is about the application of radio. Because of the development of electronic devices, radio's audiences become less and less. But for the rural area, because of the limited conditions in the countryside, few people subscribe to newspapers and magazines. Few people can use the internet to watch the news, and cable TV is not popular. The holding of radios are high. All this contribute to the advantage of broadcasting is rural area. Moreover, for elderly persons, some broadcasts are especially for the elderly, which can help the elderly understand current events and protect their legal rights. Compared to cell phone, computer, and other electronic devices, radio has a unique advantage in serving the elderly. Radio was the chief entertainment of the age when the 70 years old and 8 years old when they were young, so their understanding and use of radio was better. Furthermore, many countries will still pay attention to radio. For example, in German, Radio enjoys a widespread popularity, especially amongst youth and young adults. In both the US and the UK, it's also become a source of entertainment in which getting in front of the radio as a family become a common occurrence in many households. Radio is a leader of the popular culture, but radio passed it heyday. Now, the most popular place people use it are in the car radio and some radio apps. And the purpose of most people to use car radio is to they want to get latest traffic information, and the radio apps allow people to find some old radio content. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your listening.